Welcome to the Golden Com Podcast. Special guest with me today, Sue Parks. Sue Parks, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jason. Glad to be here.
Oh man, I'm so glad you're here. One of my favorite topics is leadership. It's just a topic that I've always loved and continued to learn. And I like to define leadership as really two things, influence and service. Influence and service. I bet that if I asked people, tell me somebody with influence and service in Orange County, nice jacket by the way, Sue Parks would be at the top of the list.
Oh, I don't know about the top.
I think, because I've asked some people and they nominated you. So I want to talk about the Orange County United Way. But for us to talk about that in context, I want to talk about the CEO, the current CEO, that's you. And I want to talk about your formative years, like where you grew up and what were your influences, who influenced you, how did you learn early leadership skills? And if you wouldn't mind sharing, where did you grow up and what was the best part of where you grew up?
Well, thank you, Jason. And yes, Orange for Orange County. Try to live the brand. I grew up in Rockford, Illinois, and probably the best part of growing up when I grew up is that we had a lot of freedom. We played outside. We, walked to school. We did all those good things, and came home when it was dark out in the summer. It was all pretty good.
Okay, and I don't know this answer. Did you have a mom and a dad there?
Yes, my mom and my dad. My mom is still alive. She's going strong at 99 next year. Pretty amazing. My dad passed away, probably 15 or so years ago.
I'm sorry to hear that, but your mom has 98.
My mom is pretty amazing at 98.
That's amazing. So she made it.
She made it. Yeah, she's done well.
Yeah,
she's done well.
And she's been a widow for 15 years.
Yeah. She, we were worried about her right after because they were the type of couple that were always together. The only time that they were apart, probably a night or two, is when I whisked her away on a little vacation or something. So we didn't know, but she's loves her family. She reads a lot. She takes care of her garden. She just stays busy and mentally active. She's probably watching a financial show right now, calling her broker. So she's doing well.
This is totally throwing me off. Now we're going to talk about your mom. So when do you see her? Have you seen her recently, or do you visit, or does she probably doesn't come out here?
She doesn't come out here anymore. She has, but it's easier for me to go back and visit her. I grew up in Illinois. When you grow up in Illinois, there's almost a rule that you retire in Florida. That's where you go. And so if you're from the Midwest, you go to the west side of Florida. So she retired, or when her and my dad had a chance to have a second place for the winters, they ended up in the west coast of Florida. So she still to this day has two places, and she goes to Illinois in the summer and Florida in the winter.
There's something to learn here. And she's sharp.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's 98,
she's sharp. Okay. Maybe one more question. Brothers, sisters, did you have any?
I have three. I was the baby.
You're the baby. Okay.
Yeah. My sister's the oldest, and my sister's in Florida right now, lives about a half a block from my mom. And in the summer, you asked how often I see her. I go back once a month, and I see her in the summer and help her, with, taking her to doctor's appointments and all that type of thing. So once a month I'm there, and every other month in the winter I see her. So a lot.
A lot. That's pretty cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome to be able to do. It's a privilege for me.
Way to go. I guess you graduated high school somewhere out there.
I did graduate. There's proof. Yes, I did.
And I saw on your LinkedIn you went to Iowa State.
Yeah, I did. I actually went to SMU for my first year, my freshman year. My parents were really tired by the time that I was the youngest, and they said I could go anywhere. A cute guy I knew went to SMU, so I decided I'd go to SMU. And then after a year, I was like, I really like the Midwest, the style of the Midwest. I'm a Midwesterner at heart. And a friend of mine loved Iowa State, and I applied, and there you go.
And then what did you want to be, or did you know? Because you're in university, the guy's not as cute as he was, right? And you like the Midwest. So now you're at Iowa State, which is close to house. And are you on a track, or are you just saying, I need to go to school because that's what we do?
I was pretty much that you go to school, right?
Okay.
My father probably like many people at that time, he grew up with without family caring about him. He lived on the street. He and his friends made their way and all that, went to World War II, part of that greatest generation, and came back, became a truck driver, and ended up owning his company. So he was a very, very good role model, but his whole focus was his children need to have a good education. They need to have a stability and have that something that he didn't have. So he was very much a driving force in my life and my siblings.
And the value of education. So
Yeah.
you get your degree, and then from what I can see, you came out west. Did something happen in between, or is that what I'm looking at?
No, I ended up being pretty much what a business major at the time. It was called
Okay.
industrial administration. Was not on a track, and I was recruited out of college at the time. I don't know if they still do this, but there were companies that would come and interview, and I went to work for Armstrong World Industries, the creator of the indoor world. And so anyway, out of all of that, they sent 18 of us that had been recruited around the country to a manor house in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And for 4 months, we went through training, kind of sales and marketing, and how do you present yourself, and kind of business etiquette. So it was wonderful in that way. And there was 17, 18 of us. It was a lot of fun in addition. But every week, the national sales manager would come in and say into us individually, do an interview, what did you learn and where do you want to be placed once this is over? And I said, do you want to guess, Jason? I said the Midwest. I know people in the Midwest. I'm a Midwesterner at heart. Send me places nobody else would go. Dubuque. I would have gone to Dubuque. I would have gone anywhere. And he sent me to Fresno, California. And he sent everybody opposite of where they wanted to go. And at the time, that was before we all had cell phones and could call home, every day and complain or whatever. I called home once a week and probably sobbed the entire time. But I paid my dues. I stayed for 2 years, and then I got promoted up to the Bay Area. But that's what I did. That's how I got to California.
I wish I could package that story and give it to every 18-year-old on the planet. Can I double click on that? You had a 2-year training program that taught you all the etiquette in the trade of business. And to top it off, they put you at the opposite place of where you wanted to be.
Yeah.
Is there any better learning than that?
There was no better learning. I mean, at the time, I did not probably think that way.
For
I was
sure,
not going
for
through
sure.
my mind as I was sobbing. But I will say it was probably a costly experiment for them because only 2 of us stayed. And think about the investment they put into all of us to have us, spend that. But people felt a little bit, I don't want to say tricked, I guess, at the time. But I will say that I learned to pay my dues. And I say that that's something because I had to rely on myself. I had to figure it out. I didn't have a lot of people around me. My sales manager, my team was up in the Bay Area. I was by myself in Fresno and had to learn to live on my own without anybody I knew. So it was a good learning, and I learned strength that I never thought I had. I had a lot of very interesting experiences.
It taught you perseverance.
Perseverance.
And how to make it. It taught you that. Crying yourself to sleep. Not that you said that, but it's a reminder of I've been there. Like, not crying yourself, but just like, how am I going to get out of this pickle, right? So then you go to Avery, Dennison. Is that how you get there?
Well, I got promoted up to I paid my dues.
Yes.
I promoted up to the Bay Area and loved it. So that was like, okay, so I paid my 2 years and ended up working out of the office and got more responsibility and all that type of thing. And then I was recruited by Avery Dennison.
Were you in the ecosystem of them, or was that a complete recruit out of, how do you get recruited at that? There's no LinkedIn. So how do you get recruited there?
It's a really, really good question, Jason. But I think that at the time that, I probably had at some point told somebody that I was open and somebody called me. But
Gotcha.
I'm sure at some point it was some type of just conversation with somebody.
It's a headhunter.
A headhunter
Yeah,
type that,
sure.
that got a hold of me and said, we're looking for people. And Avery, it was a division of Avery called Fason, but they did, pressure-sensitive labels. But the similarity was that you worked with just distribution houses. And so I had a background of working with distribution houses, helping train their salespeople into selling my products. And so the concept, the product was different, but the concept was very much the same. And I ended up with having the Western. At some point when I left Avery, I was there for many years, but I ran half the country as a sales manager. It was really, really great. So, yeah, it was a good experience.
What's your conversation at this time with your dad? How's that going? Like, is he looking at you saying, wow, Sue, go?
I think he was like, why aren't you living at home with him? I think that's why is my baby so far away? I really think was the conversation.
Right?
But no, they were proud of me.
Oh,
they were
yeah.
proud that I was making it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe one other job or two. I saw Gateway, which is a San Diego firm. I saw US West, which is a mega telecom pre-breakup of the Bell or system.
Yeah. So just my career journey is I was recruited from Avery by one of my clients, and they were a big paper distributor. And so I ended up, at one point, I was the only female running a paper distribution company in the country, right? But and that was in San Diego. And so I did a number of those different things. But I went to work for one of my clients that had recruited me away. Mm-hmm. And at the time they wanted me to move back, the company was headquartered in Ohio. Now notice all of a sudden I've become a Californian. Mm-hmm. So now I was offered a job in Ohio in the Midwest, and I was like, no, I'm staying in California. And I was married at the time, except I am still married, but I was married by then. But I was also like, oh, this is interesting. So I was kind of in my mind thinking about different things because they had offered me this other job. And somebody had given my name to US West. And US West, they were working on bringing in people who had real-life competitive experience in commodity-type products. Because a lot of people who've grown up in the telecoms, they only competed against internally because there wasn't external competition. But the markets had opened up, and I had a track record of success in industries that are pretty much commodities of, figuring out a value proposition that made us, an opportunity for somebody to work with. So I was recruited by US West, and I love that. Mm-hmm. I will say I love that role, and I would have stayed forever, but we went through a merger, and I knew at the time when I met the new leadership team that was coming in that it probably wasn't the best fit for me. And at the time, we were living in South Orange County, which is where we continue to live, and we loved it. I commuted every week to like Denver or Dallas or somewhere else. But Gateway was headquartered, Gateway Business, they needed a leader. They were headquartered in Lake Forest, California, and I was like, this is going to be perfect for me. And so that's how I ended up with Gateway.
And that was the cow box.
That was
where you would almost mail order. Was it one of the first mail order companies?
It was a really great success story where, these they refurbished computers and they did it, and I think grandma gave them the money type of thing, and these guys created a whole brand, very popular as people's first computer and very popular in schools, in education. And what I ran was very popular in small businesses, a lot of small businesses, because the owner knew Gateway and their home. Right. And so when they started a business, Gateway was a brand that they were comfortable with and familiar with. So it was a great experience. They didn't keep the business headquarters in Lake Forest for long. The founder came back and he wanted us all together in Poway, and all of a sudden I was driving 4 hours a day, 2 hours there and 2 hours back. Every day. It was easier to fly to Denver than do what I was doing, but it was great. But it was in that time that somehow the United Way of Orange County got my phone number and called me on my home phone. Do you remember when we had home phones? And called me on my home phone. I had never done anything with them, but they had read an article about me that had been in the paper at the time and said, we're looking for somebody to help start a women's giving circle, and we were interested to talk to you and see if this would be something that would work for you. And I was like, I don't know anybody in Orange County. I know my family. I know United Airlines. I know my dry cleaners. These are the people I hang out with because I traveled all the time. And I said yes, and I met, and I thought this would be really wonderful to meet all these incredible women in Orange County. So I said yes, and that started my relationship with Orange County United Way.
Awesome. So you started was that a volunteer position?
Volunteer.
Okay, so you started as a volunteer. You're bringing this incredible, there seems to be a trend of you being pulled by recruiters. So it seems to be that somebody gets your name, they call, they want to add you because of your track record to their mix. Now you're at the United Way as a volunteer, still working. I think it may be also another work or two. But let's just get into today. You're the CEO of Orange County United Way, which is a sizable organization as far as Orange County goes. Now, from an Orange County standpoint, I've read or heard that we're the third largest economy output in the state in sense of
That seems right.
and the sixth or seventh largest output in the country. And when you hear Orange County, I think maybe because of the OC and some other reality TV, which we don't watch a lot of reality TV, but there seems to be a picture of Orange County, which is maybe only 2/3 true, because there's a whole nother picture of Orange County. Enter your mission and what you and your team are doing, and tell us a little bit about what the United Way does in the morning when you guys wake up.
Yeah, thank you. And one of the things I always like to start off with, that every United Way, people might know the brand, and I learned this early on, is every United Way is focused on improving lives in their local community. So everything we do is totally focused on Orange County. Orange County United Way is all about improving lives in Orange County. So I report to a local board. That's who I report to. We are a separate 501c3. So here in Orange County, most people are shocked to know that a third of the people who live in Orange County are really struggling paycheck to paycheck or having a really tough time to get by. So there's a little over 3 million people. 1 million people are struggling every day, and those are the people that we serve in a number of different ways.
Okay, so it's really important, if you're listening to this podcast and you think it's riveting, I want you to lean into the I want you to lean into the monitor as we listen to Sue talk about 3 or 4 pillars that you guys are focused on. I definitely want you to touch on 211, but I also probably want to hear a little bit about housing, maybe education. Tell me what it is that you guys specifically do, and then I really want to hear, how can the normal person who loves Orange County, most of the people that watch this show are in Orange County, what is a baby step that they can do to help?
Yeah.
Okay, would you do that for us?
I would be happy
I would love
to.
hear
Thank
it.
you,
Yeah.
Jason. So everything we do involves a level of collaboration. We work very collaboratively in the community. We do a lot of advocacy to help educate people and help move people and, change policies, et cetera. And then we also do our own direct programming. What do we need to do? If we see gaps in the community or an opportunity for us to step in where needed, we'll do that. So I just want to say we're big believers in all of that, all with the effort of lifting people in Orange County. So we have 3 big initiatives in our key service. A few years ago, we were very concerned. Remember the riverbeds and the camp, people living in the riverbeds, et cetera?
Yep.
Right. We start all of our big efforts with research. So we commissioned UCI, Jamboree Housing and ourselves commissioned UCI to say what's going on with housing here in Orange County. What is going on with our homeless population? Why do people fall into homelessness, and how much is it costing us as a community? And I think this is really eye-opening. It's how we got a lot of businesses to start saying, hey, this is something that we want to help and we want to be involved in. But the research showed from UCI, so this isn't Sue Park saying it, came from some very revered researchers, that as a community, Orange County was spending about $300 million to manage a homeless situation. That is not without ending anybody's homelessness, it's just managing it. So it could be using the emergency rooms as the medical, as the regular doctors, it's the sanitation, it's the fire, it's the police, it's the nonprofits, it's everything in the ecosystem. And if we housed everybody, if we did the humane thing, gave everybody housing, we would save $40 million a year. So you're sitting there going, here's something that's good for us economically as a community, and it's the most humane thing to do. And to that end, we started United 10 Homelessness, and we brought together business leaders and community leaders and government leaders, nonprofit leaders, faith leaders to say, let's all wrap around what we need to do to really make a difference and focus on ending homelessness in this amazing community that we live in. And so as I sit here today, United Way, through our partners and everything we've done, specifically in our own Welcome Homo See, and by partners, I mean 150 apartment owners that are out there. It's nonprofits that we commission to do the case management, but we've ended homelessness for over 1,200 some people in Orange County in the last few years. And how we do that is we work with our apartment owners, and they trust us, our brand. We work with homeless individuals, unhoused individuals who have a housing voucher, and we match them up. And then we work with the nonprofits to provide the case management, so that somebody there helping them adjust to their new lives. Most people that fall into homelessness here in Orange County, and the research proves it over again, fall into homelessness because of economic reasons. And that is also surprisingly different. And it might be different in other parts of the country. I can only speak for Orange County, but as we know, it's expensive to live here. Many people live paycheck to paycheck, one paycheck that you lose, maybe maybe you're underemployed, maybe technology has changed your job and it doesn't exist anymore, whatever that might happen. That one trigger can start somebody into homelessness. And if somebody's been homeless for a while, you're going to develop defensive ways to manage it. It might be through a substance. It might be through constant stress that you develop a mental illness. But in Orange County, the research shows it's not the main reason why people fall into homelessness. 70% fall into homelessness economically. And the scary thing, Jason, is our seniors are falling into homelessness in a big way. And that is because they're on a fixed income. Rents go up, other costs of living go up, and they can't keep up, and they're falling to homelessness. So our shelters are filled with seniors, and I think if people know that, they'd want to do more to help. But anyway, big effort around homelessness, and you can tell that I'm passionate
You're
about
really
this.
passionate.
I am passionate.
Can I double click just a few things to make sure that I caught it? There are 150 partners out there that own apartments, and you need more.
Yes.
Okay, so if you have apartment buildings and you love Orange County, there are seniors and other people who are not on drugs and that don't have homes, and they can't afford to live here, and they might even be working here but don't have homes.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
I do know for a factoid, I won't mention the high school, but the high school that I work with, 7 homeless people at the high school. And it is the name of the high school. You would never think there was a homeless person at this high school. 7 live in their cars because they can't justify making rent. And I know, I don't want to get into it. It's a real issue. It isn't what you see on TV. There are people that work here that can't afford homes here.
Many of the people that are homeless work. Absolutely, they work. They're trying so hard.
So apartment owners we need.
Exactly.
What are these housing vouchers? And try to explain it in a minute or less, because I don't want to get into something that's too complicated.
Yeah.
What's a housing voucher?
A housing voucher is somebody's gone through an assessment, and in most cases when somebody has a disability or they're not going to be able to live on their own without support, they can be given a housing voucher. They've always been tough to get, but now there's a lot of changes going on, and I won't go into all the changes. But right now, for example, we have veterans, the vouchers that are for our veterans, and we need to house for the people living now. There are 50 veterans this coming year, and I could use people's help on that. So, yeah, to your point, we'll make sure people know how to reach out. And former foster youth, and these are youth that have this opportunity to get something stable in their life, 3 to 5 years to have stability. They can finish their education. They don't have to stress out of where they're going to live, and they can get back knowing into society that people care about them. So those 2 vouchers are real, and there's more of them to come. We're watching what's going to go on right now with the other vouchers, but they are a government form of paying rent. And everybody has to pay a little bit of rent too, so everybody has skin in the game. The person that's being housed has skin in the game, but it's also recognition that out of this beautiful community that we live in, 3 million plus people, there are a few thousand that really need help. So
Right.
we can do this, Orange County.
Okay, last I'll talk on this, and then I want to get into 211. I heard you say collaboration and close the gaps. This seems like a complex ecosystem. And so the United Way exists because you guys are like the quarterback here. You collaborate and you close the gaps between these 4 or 5 complex things, and you basically bring that together. So if I wanted to help and I had apartments, I would go to you, or if I wanted to help and I had money, I would go to you, and I would earmark it for senior housing, foster housing, and you guys could help put that to good work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Boom.
I would
Okay.
say in terms of going into our Welcome Homelessness program and
Yep.
let us house, wherever the priorities are,
Okay.
that would be.
We're going to get that out
Okay,
there.
great. Thank
We're going
you
to
for
get that
that.
out there. And do we have time to do 211?
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
I'll do it really quickly,
Yeah.
too, that we have a big program on education, student success, primarily in Title I high schools and even middle schools, to get students excited about careers of the future. If you're out there and you care about the workforce and our students who need role modeling, we always need companies to open their doors and take high school interns for just a few weeks to show them what it's like to be in this, in a professional environment. We had one young man that just talked to us recently, and he went to one of our partners, Edwards Life Sciences, and he came out of there going, I'm going to be an engineer, and he's on his way to becoming an engineer. How cool is that, right?
the
You never
best.
would have had that in his mind. Lots of work around our students, and you can find this all out on our site. Volunteer activities as well, help with mock interviews, all sorts of things. We have a big body of work around helping families become financially stable. So those families that are living perhaps in their car, we work primarily out of Title I elementary schools, where the schools identify families at risk. And we work with them for a year to help them stabilize, understand financial, how to budget, how to set financial goals for their family, and really try to, work out. Most families want to do what's right for their kids, right? They want to do what's right. Nobody's
Sue,
sitting back saying they don't want to help.
Every family wants to do
I
what's right for
know,
their kids.
I know.
Not most.
Yeah.
Every
Well, I just
family
want to thank you.
wants to do what's right
And
for
I
their
think
kids.
that's really important for people to know. And then a couple of years ago, we were being called to say, there's an opportunity to help 211. And I'll do a little promotion on 211. Every community, 97% of the country has a 211, and they are the hotline for social services. So if your house is on fire, is life and death, call 911. For anything else, you can call 211. And we run a network of 1,100 nonprofits representing 3,300 programs. We learn from the caller what their needs are, and then we match them with the services that best fits those needs. And we're taking it a step further. It's not enough just to refer. We want to make sure people are truly connected. So we've created a platform we've used Salesforce, and we built an application on the Salesforce platform so that we can really connect all the different nonprofits with the goal of wrapping ourselves around and helping that individual, primarily before they fall. It's transformational, and we're doing it here in Orange County, and I think we're creating the model for the whole country.
Collaboration and gaps. Collaboration and gaps.
That's right.
Doing the research for you coming here. Thank you, by the way, for coming here today. There's an amazing video on your website that this just has, I'm sure you got permission, just real calls of people who call into 211. Just listening to that is all you have to hear what is going on with people in our backyard that need help, that need a hand.
Yeah, I will tell you, every call is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
There was one a couple of weeks ago, a woman living in her car with 2 kids, right? And she's trying to go to work full time. She's trying to get her kids to school on time, and just for some family issues, she needed to leave, and we need to get her back on a road. These are our neighbors. We say we need to be united for OC, right? We need to be united for the people of Orange County. We can do this.
We can do this, okay? I'm not doing this now, but I want to let you know I'm a part of the mob.
I love
Just
it.
so you know that.
Thank you.
I'm in the mob. Derek
That is
Rosselli,
fantastic.
Steve Churm, they hunted me down. So I'm in the mob, which is what? What is the mob?
The mob
Men.
is the men of the breakfast. We have an amazing breakfast every year, and the men kept growing and became the men of the breakfast.
If you're a man in Orange County, ever want to be in the mob, you can do it.
That's
be in
right,
the mob, and
that's right.
that's a nice place. We get together, we figure out how we can help special projects, activities, awareness. Thank you for that as being one of the. We could be here all day talking about the services that you provide. Your leadership is unmatched, Sue Parks.
Well, I don't know about that, but
It
it was
really
an honor
is.
to be with you, Jason.
It really
so
is,
thank
particularly
you
in
for,
Orange County, which we love Orange County. We love the color of that jacket. We're rooting for you, and we'll get this out there. And maybe last thing before we're getting ready for the holidays, which who knows when people are watching this, could watch it anytime. But what's going on with Mom and you in the holidays? What's going on?
My mom and my brother, she'll be well taken care of
Yeah.
in Florida, and I'll go see her in January.
Okay.
And so give a little holiday cheer in January.
Okay,
so
we'll get this out to her. I know she's going to love it. So
Well,
thank you for coming.
thank you,
Okay,
Jason.
you're
I
welcome.
appreciate
Yeah,
it.
Thanks for coming. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.